A very good evening. You're watching our special broadcast on the 71st Independence Day of the country, our show called Freedom 71. August audience here, thank you for joining us. I want to quickly, thank you. I want to introduce our guests this evening, but just before I do that, I want to introduce the premise of our show for the next 1 hour. Freedom 71, where what we did today, through the course of the day, our producers all sat together, tore apart the 82-minute speech of the Prime Minister. What did the people think? We have an August House right here. We have a representative team of the people. We have Reena Dhaka, fashion designer. We have Mr. Shiv Khera. He's a motivational speaker. He's an author. This comprises our team public. We have team opposition. Of course, they've already torn it apart. For team opposition, we have Rohan Gupta from the Congress. We have Ghanshyam Tiwari from the Samajwadi Party team. I just saw what you did, Sambit. Quickly nodded his partner into standing up straight. All right, so we have Team Modi. We have Sambit Patra from the Bharatiya Janata Party. And we have Raghav Avasthi. He joins us in the capacity of an RSS ideologue. Of course, they are getting the Prime Minister's back today. So what we're going to do now is just to introduce our show to our panelists here and to our viewers. What we've done is we've broken the Prime Minister's speech, the 82 long-minute speech, into various chunks on what we thought was important, what were the highlights. And what we will do is, through the course of this 1 hour, we're going to rate him. We're going to rate the Prime Minister. Each one of you get to rate him on a scorecard of 100. So right there where Freedom 71 is displayed, your marks would be displayed on how much you rate him. Now, hopefully there should be consensus between both of the partners of a particular team. But if there is no consensus, what I would do is I'd step in and probably get into an aggregate. I don't think that should be a problem with the opposition or Team Modi, but that could be a problem with Team Public, with both of you possibly rating the Prime Minister's speech differently. So I need to no, there's no negative marking. I'm sure you'd want that, but that's not happening.
I'm just asking.
No, that's not happening. So what the Prime Minister did today, it was keenly watched. Let's just take you back what happened in the year 2014. The Prime Minister coming in as a breath of fresh air, as an outsider to the ramparts of the Red Fort, gave the promise of Achhe Din. Did we achieve that? Well, a lot of people say possibly Achhe Din, the date has been moved till 2022. But this was an important speech for the Prime Minister, an 82 long-minute speech. Why so important? Because this would be his final speech for the Independence Day before he goes into election. So was it a report card? Was it full of jumlas? Was it fact? Was it fiction? What are the promises that were made? Do they hold water? What do the people think? What does his party members think? What does the opposition think? The first part that we'd like to play, and this is the screen where we're going to be playing the Prime Minister's speech. The first part would be the Prime Minister's comment on the indirect tax of goods and services, what he had to say about the GST. Listen in.
GST कौन सहमत नहीं था? सब कोई चाहते थे GST, लेकिन निर्णय नहीं हो पाते थे। फैसले लेने में मेरा अपना लाभ गैरलाभ, राजनीति, चुनाव, यही चीजों का दबाव रहता था। आज मेरे देश के छोटे छोटे व्यापारियों की मदद से, उनके खुलेपन से, नएपन को स्वीकारने के उनके स्वभाव के कारण आज देश ने जीएसटी लागू कर दिया। व्यापारियों में एक नया विश्वास पैदा हुआ। मैं देश के व्यापारी आलम को, छोटे मोटे उद्योग करने वाले आलम को जीएसटी के साथ शुरू में कठिनाइयां आने के बावजूद भी उसको गले से लगाया, स्वीकार किया, देश आगे बढ़ा।
All right, so this is what the Prime Minister said about the goods services tax. We're going to go to the audience, but first let me get in a comment by our panelists. So Team Modi, Mr. Sambit Patra, how much, I'll give you 10 seconds for both of you to convene. If you can give me one figure on 100 on what you thought, what he said about the GST, how much water does it hold? Do you think it was the perfect thing? How much marks would you give him out of 100? You can't give 100.
See, as far as GST is concerned, as Prime Minister himself had said, it is a good and a simple tax. And remember, only about a few days ago, we had the headlines across all the newspapers saying that thanks to reforms like GST, the IMF had said, that International Monetary Fund, that India would be leading economically for 30 long years as far as the global economy is concerned. It was that kind of huge reform, I would say, which subsumed into itself 17 taxes. It was simplification, a process which was needed, which was required, which went into delineation for approximately 12 long years, but the consensus was not there. The biggest thing that Modi ji brought into the platter was not only consensus, but the nitty-gritty which was not being settled. He settled them all. It was almost like one of the mother of all reform movements for India. So I firmly believe a reform which changes and transforms the face of India for all times to come needs nothing less than 100 marks.
Right. You have to speak to your...
Yeah, we have already spoken to each other. We have spoken to each other.
I didn't see that though. I didn't see any deliberation. Man ke taar jude hue. Rohan Gupta, aapke bhi, all right, so we're going to reflect that. So
he wants to speak something.
No,
you want to say something? Yes.
I want to add that before this, over the past 10 years, we've had governments, and the sole concern of those governments was to ensure that they survived their full term. So these reforms could not have been brought in by governments like the UPA 1 or UPA 2, and hence it is, I mean, it's only a Modi government which had a full majority in the Lok Sabha that could have brought in this reform. And the people of India now realize that if they want India to go on to be on a fast track to reforms, and if they want India to be the Indian economy to grow even faster, they should elect a government which does not have survival as its sole concern.
All right, so how much now collectively?
100.
How much?
100, of course.
Yeah.
Nothing less than
you
that.
hit the ball out of the park like you have to give it some leeway. Right in the beginning, you're giving him 100.
I'll tell you as to why we gave you 100. We have a scientific reason.
You didn't give me 100.
No. We have a scientific reason for that. Remember, I firmly believe the best examiner in democracy are the people, the public.
Okay.
And remember when Mr. Rahul Gandhi, the invigilator of the examination, he went calling the GST as a Gabbar Singh tax in Surat. In Surat, 12 out of 12 seats were given by the BJP.
Before I display your marks, I also want to say, when the Prime Minister was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, what was his stand on the GST, sir?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. The Prime Minister
he was the biggest opponent of GST.
I'll tell you why. Not only Prime Minister. Remember, Jayalalitha was also an opponent.
Okay.
All the manufacturing states were opponent.
Because
Sandeep Patra will continue his speech.
I'm coming right back.
I'm coming to you.
It's their turn.
Remember, the Prime Minister himself answered this question saying that the concerns of all the manufacturing states, Tamil Nadu,
so what
Gujarat,
he opposed has been met.
No. The best answer was the Congress government was not agreeing for the compensation clause, which Modi government agreed that for 5 years to come, all the compensation would be looked after by the central government. That's why all the manufacturing states fell in line saying that, well, yes, we agree.
Okay, so you've hit the ball out of the park in the first lot, 100 given directly.
Yeah.
I'll come to team opposition. Okay, so 100, don't tell me you're going to give him 0. Rohan Gupta and Ghanshyam Tiwari.
See, first of all, the way Sambit ji, started his speech as if he's doing a speech at Lal Killa, let me tell him, it's not good and simple. Like, it is a Gabbar Singh tax. Why? When UPA introduced this GST, they were very clear that we wanted petrol and diesel also to be part of GST, and that was the main reason why GST was delayed, number one. Number two, if you see today also, there are 23 different taxes across all states. It's a different GST. Number three, you ask anybody who is whether a small vyapari or a big businessman, it's a complicated tax. Number four, still there is a refund issue in the software. They are not able to file their return. Number five, e-way bill. They had to take e-way bill back because of the structure issue of their software. It is like giving doing operation without giving anesthesia to the patient. Today, whatever Prime Minister is saying, GST was brainchild of Congress Party, and they wanted it to support people. Today, what has happened? They forced GST, they killed economy for 3 months, and today, ask anybody in the market, they are absolutely not happy about GST. They are not able to file their return. They are not able to take the credit. They have killed the business.
Well, you look at the stakeholders. The stakeholders are small businesses. They are suffering. Look at this compliance. The compliance has failed. India, being an IT giant, is still not able to find out the right systems to put in place so that compliance and the entire technology works. So you cannot give anything more than 0 to this kind of poor implementation of GST. And in fact, if people in Gujarat gave them 0, we are only reiterating that.
Okay, 10 seconds rebuttal.
Okay. Then 10 seconds to us.
No, this will keep going on. 10 seconds. Okay, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm just going. We get into this. Okay, no, the motivational speaker has spoken and saying that if we get into rebuttals, it's only going to get into an argument. No,
let's respect the lady. She has allowed me 10 seconds.
In the end, okay, let's. Okay. To be fair, what we will do is, okay, to be fair, Mr. Patra, listen to me, Dr. Patra.
but
To be
okay,
fair,
yes, ma'am.
what I'll do is,
Yeah.
once we are done with all your ratings, in the end, I will give you
Okay.
both teams 5 minutes for rebuttals
That's
for
great.
each one. Let me
Thank
move.
you.
Both team, all three teams.
All three teams. Yes, I agree.
that would
Team
be a
public
fair
is the
one.
most important.
Okay.
Team public is the most important. All right.
Okay.
Mr. Khera and Reena Dhaka, how much do you think what the Prime Minister said about the GST was actually right? Have people actually accepted it? Is it easier now? You want to begin, Reena Dhaka, because
Well-
you're filing your taxes. You're a fashion designer. Is it easier?
So we all were very much welcoming this move because we were waiting for GST. It was something we all were looking forward to in our trade, in our industry. However, its implementation, the tax slabs, and the fact that we didn't factor in the hidden costs which come with any manufacturing trade, they have really burdened the 3% we must be to take on
Okay.
this huge, enormous load on ourselves. And as a result, over the years, there has been a slowdown. But I mean, we're not giving up. It's not a closure, but it's a struggle. So if the government, which is all of you, would understand the issues we are facing in our day-to-day survivals, which are
So good
easily
in paper,
explainable
not
to you.
good when you're actually putting in papers in terms
Yeah,
of
the
taxes.
reality is the hidden costs. The basics have to be reduced. They're so high and they're escalating not just for ourselves, but for those we employ or we work with. So costs are higher and the market forces have reduced the,
Okay.
the markets down. So that's made the businessmen at a very vulnerable position at the moment.
So your partner in Team Public, Mr. Khera, what do you think about the GST?
Well, I personally feel conceptually it was required, badly required, to knock off at least 19, 18, 17 other taxes which were a burden, and they were nothing else but houses of corruption at 17 verticals, which Modi has knocked off 17 verticals of corruption. So he's brought in, we needed it badly. Yes, conceptually great, but implementation rather very poor. But as the gentleman said, software problems, 3 tax returns every month. I mean, there are multiple issues that are still there. But for any good thing happening, there are teething problems, and most people are supporting and they're willing to go through teething problems. Now, question is, are they avoidable? Can they be avoided? Answer is yes, they can and they should be avoided. Are
Okay.
they implementing fast enough? Answer is they are not. They should do it fast enough so that they ease the whole public, whole country, and the economy will go right back up again.
All right,
That
so
is crucial.
Okay, so I did not ask Team Opposition the marks, and I'm going to ask your marks from you, how much you grade them over 100. They've given them 100, Team Modi. All right, the audience here, GST worked or did not work? जिनको लगता है कि work किया है, हाथ खड़े कीजिए. वर्क किया
they
है.
don't pay
आप
it.
में से शक्ल से तो लग रहा है अभी तक कोई टैक्स पे नहीं करता है. You look all under 20 right now.
Why did you ask the question?
I don't know.
And this is the feedback they must have gotten from the
Okay.
parents, no?
No. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is let's quickly grade. You said okay. So Team Modi 100.
100.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So
100.
it's hopefully we'll have it reflecting
Grace
there.
marks are allowed?
No, Grace over 100. You want to give more
Yeah,
Grace marks?
they wanted negative marks. I want grace marks.
Grace marks are
No,
when
no.
you are failing, right? It's not like above 100, it is
Okay.
less than
so
0. basically.
Team Modi gives 100.
Zero with a
Team
grace mark.
Opposition.
0 with a grace mark.
0.
So how much grace are you giving him?
With
Hey,
grace it
okay.
becomes,
Now
with
you know
grace
this
it
is
becomes
this is
zero.
a sincere
It's zero.
request to Team Opposition and Team Modi. Have a big heart. You know, you can't give, you can't grade him 0 on every front. You can't grade him 100
it's
on
not,
every
not
front.
on every front. On this front, particularly on economy, with respect to jobs,
Okay.
notebandi and
So
GST.
0, you're giving him a 0.
Big 0.
I believe, see, with all due respect, they are very erudite speakers and good friends of mine. I believe the youngsters of this country do not embrace reforms like GST, and if we mark them as 0, a very negative message is what
They are
travels
saying
across
they
the
believe
country.
in the
youngsters- youngsters have embraced.
Let us
Okay, this is
Sambit
not
ji,
even an
you are
argument.
also
No.
good
Just a
friend.
second, just a
You have
second.
taken
Let's have an
time in
argument.
between,
Sir, let's
so I
listen
will
to
not
what
allow.
youngsters have
I will
embraced.
follow your
Let's-
format.
Yes.
Youngsters
Yeah,
are
you
embracing
point
it.
it out.
You made your point, Sambit.
Youngsters
Yes.
are the
point
plurality
here
of the
is,
youngsters are embracing it.
As people's voice it told, anything in India, it is when it is to be implemented, you should have proper homework. We never were against GST. We were the people who wanted
Okay.
GST, but not without proper homework. You
No,
cannot
but I
put
would
people.
wanted an amendment. What
You
they
cannot put
Okay.
people
He said
in this
something
deep
wrong.
trouble
This is an
just
argument.
because
Okay.
of your
Wait, 0.
failure.
Okay, Team Public.
Here 50%.
Because
50.
it's a good idea, but I personally feel the implementation needs to, bring down the tax slabs so that the market forces, which are right now playing the economy down or making us struggle, will weigh it out, because then the lower slabs
So
will
both
help.
of you come to a consensus of 50.
50%.
More than the idea itself, I think we also
Basically,
need to
this
emphasize
idea was Congress.
that
I think
that
they
no,
should
the
give
idea
it.
was
I'm
not.
gonna
No,
just
the
before-
The idea was Congress, so why
Idea was
zero?
Congress party.
intellectual
Then they should
property.
get
The idea was
If it
Congress,
is
so why
50
zero?
for idea,
For
how can they
implementation
get
of GST in
50?
Indonesia also.
They should
Please
get
don't.
big zero.
Please
Okay,
desist.
okay,
Please
okay.
desist.
So in fact,
I think,
it is a zero.
I think
What I'm gonna do
apart
is-
from the idea itself, we also need to give credit to the incumbent government for having built a political consensus,
You cannot-
which the UPA
you cannot
government
force things
absolutely
on
failed to
people.
do for
Please.
10 years.
Okay, all
You
right. Okay, so
cannot
I'm going to
force
just read
things
out.
on
I'm
people.
going to read out the marks. So Team Modi gave 100. Team Opposition
know
gave
what
a
Nancy gave.
0. Team Public was prudent. They've given a 50. Good idea, bad implementation. So this is what Team Public thought. What we're going to do is we're going to go into a quick break and hope. Good evening, you're back with us. Our special presentation on the 71st Independence Day, Freedom 71, where we have an entire panel, they have an audience, and what we have done is we're going to rate the Prime Minister's speech, his final Independence Day speech before he goes into election, which a lot would say read like a report card. So what we've also done, once again, to get our viewers up to speed with the format of the show, we've broken the speech up, picked up the important parts, and we have three teams. Of course, Team Modi, we have Team Opposition, and we have Team Public, and they've been rating that particular point or that particular part of the speech, whether it held any water, was it a jumla, was it a promise of better days to come. So let's begin right now with farmers. Now, the Modi government has been pretty much in hot water when it comes down to the farmer issues or the agriculture distress. The Prime Minister today addressing one of his co-constituencies. Now, the key words that he used during his speech today was Garib, were farmers, Jawan, Kisan, Garib, and women. How many times did he use the word farmers? Over 15 times. How many times did he use the word agriculture? Over 11 times. So, what did he say about one of the co-constituencies that he would like to address coming elections? Listen in.
आजादी के 75 साल हो, किसानों की आय दोगुनी करने का सपना देखा है। कई लोगों को इस पर आशंकाएं होती हैं, बहुत स्वाभाविक है। जिनको आशंका होती है बहुत स्वाभाविक है, लेकिन हम लक्ष्य लेकर के चले हैं और हम मक्खन पे लकीर करने की आदत वाले नहीं हैं, हम पत्थर पर लकीर करने की स्वभाव वाले लोग। मक्खन पर लकीर तो कोई भी कर लेता है, अरे पत्थर पर लकीर करने के लिए पसीना बहाना पड़ता है, योजना बनानी पड़ती है, जी जान से जुटना पड़ता है। और इसलिए आजादी के 75 साल होंगे तब तक देश के किसानों को साथ लेकर के, कृषि में आधुनिकता ला करके, कृषि के फलक को चौड़ा कर करके हम आज चलना चाहते हैं। बीज से लेकर के बाजा तक हम वैल्यू एडिशन करना चाहते हैं, हम आधुनिकीकरण करना चाहते हैं।
All right, the Prime Minister must have said what he did, but let's take it now to our panelists. And Team Modi, has Beej se Bazaar tak happened yet? It hasn't happened yet. I have figures with me, cold figures, and I'll just take you through that. The number of farmer protests that your government has seen, no other, mind you, government has ever seen.
And how did you know that?
I've broken it down in states. I can give you figures.
Wait, can I ask a question?
You can have your.
Can I ask a little question?
No, you can have
I
your
won't
say.
say. It's not. I can get it. These are figures.
Well,
Cold
no,
figures.
wait. As
Well,
far
on the
as
basis, on the
by
basis of
Jaspreeti,
debt.
I have never heard when you said that no government ever in
Has
India
had as
had a farmer protest. It is only under Mr. Modi that
No.
a farmer
Hey,
protest.
Mr.
I believe this is a
Patra.
very heavily
Mr. Patra, I
loaded and a
understand,
biased
sir.
statement, which should not have come from at least the high table of language.
All right, Mr.
Anyway, you can
Patra.
continue. You have
Now,
a
okay.
right.
Now, sir, I know you're a very astute
No,
and
please, sir,
erudite
madam, I'll
speaker.
answer that.
You're a very
Yeah.
astute and erudite speaker. I respect you highly,
Yeah,
sir.
please,
But
ma'am.
the statement which I made,
Yeah.
you're twisting it just at the right,
Little bit, I believe, but
just
yeah,
at the
so
right
we'll do-
point.
yeah.
Because what you're saying,
Okay.
sir, is that I said that no other government has had the kind of farmer protest,
What is the
has
source
had
of
farmer
these figures?
protests like
What
your
is
government.
Exactly. What is the source of these
Numbers,
figures? We would like to know.
numbers.
Numbers from
Numbers.
where?
What is the source of these
Okay,
numbers?
Please quote
yes,
the
yes,
numbers.
yes. I'm quoting numbers.
Which study is
Madhya
this?
Pradesh, Maharashtra, 2 states. Let's take right.
No, why not
Chhattisgarh,
all the
Haryana.
states you have to take? all the
I'm giving-
29 states
I
we
am
would like
giving
to
you-
have,
And
because
more
this is a,
importantly-
just a second.
I understand
This
it's a
is-
little,
no,
the topic is a
no,
little,
ma'am.
it's
This-
touched
because
on
this comes from a prime channel, and this is a very loaded statement when you say that no states in India had
Cumulatively.
farmer protest akin to Mr. Modi. Then
Sambit
of
ji,
course
it
we
is
would like to have
understandable.
the numbers.
We can
We would
understand
like
your
to have the
frustration.
source.
Give
We
it.
would
It is
need-
understandable.
Sir, okay.
What source?
Does NCRB, you want to know about the
Yeah, please give
the
us the data.
suicides?
To
Do
say
you
that
agree?
after independence, it is for the first time that such huge amounts of protests
Mr.
are taking
Patra, it's
place
really
in India.
interesting.
I really
you know,
would like
if,
to
if
know
you
the
want to get
source.
into that, I can also,
Are
you know,
these
I can twist
NCRB figures?
exactly what you're
Are
saying.
these figures from the NCRB?
The suicide rate figures,
No,
yes,
not the
sir.
suicide rate figures.
Then
I'm talking
protest.
about
You
the
don't
How
have
the
the
protests
figures.
be from the
Where-
NCRB?
where does it- where does
Sheer
it-
numbers.
that's
Sheer
what I'm
numbers.
wondering. Where does this figures come from?
Madhya Pradesh has had eight
Just
eight farmer
speak.
protests
According
going.
to who?
Let us
And
speak the
eight
numbers,
farmer
right?
protests.
Eight
Sambit ji,
massive
let us
protests.
speak.
Eight farmer
According to who?
protests
All
is
right,
a
you know,
record.
this is what
This is
okay,
How
okay,
is
okay,
eight
okay.
farmer protest for the first? I don't
All right, okay,
understand.
sir. Okay, what we'll do is
Anybody's
how
voice
eight
to
Mr.
be
farmer
heard.
Patra,
protests
Where
is
do
a
you
high
really
record.
want whether
Just
it
a
is-
second.
Patra,
This is the reality
Mr.
of
Patra,
BJP.
let me throw this as an open challenge.
Oh,
to
that
you,
would be okay.
Right? I will put down because if you're going to get into state-wise, I have all the figures.
Okay.
Right?
Let's
the fact
begin with
is, your
Meghalaya,
government,
say.
sir, the fact is, and it is a fact. Whether I am a journalist and I will speak the
No,
truth.
I'm not questioning your journalism at all.
You just did. You
No,
just
no,
did.
not at all.
You
Not at
just
all.
did.
Not at all,
Exactly
Preeti.
5 minutes
But
ago, you said from a
that-
prestigious channel as India Today.
No, not at
the-
all.
the
I
figures-
wanted the source
Patra
because
ji, I
you
think she
said
should be
that.
allowed to
Sir,
speak. This
sir,
is
You
not
said
the way.
that the
Sir,
highest
sir,
number of
She has right to access her
no,
sources.
Preeti.
Okay, I will-
You said that the
sir.
highest number of
This is
not
protests
the way you
took
cannot
place
consolidate
during
like
Modi
this.
regime
All right, okay.
compared
This
to
is
the
not-
Congress
this is
regime.
not your
We would like to know
I
the
have
source
compared,
cannot
because this
I
is
have
a loaded
compared,
statement.
I have compared including your own term under Mr. Vajpayee from there all the way up, right? Now I am happy, just let me finish and then you can, I'm
Yeah.
happy to share the figures with you. And
the source of
this
the
is a
figures as
challenge with the sources, right?
Yeah.
And this is a challenge which I will give to you right now on national television. If India
But
Today
then
is
why do we
proven...
need a team opposition?
Sir.
No,
if
why?
India,
Anybody
you
can
questioned
get
team
us.
opposition
This is
if
the
there's a
Mr.
team
Patra,
opposition.
Dr.
Anybody
Patra, you
speaking
questioned
truth
us.
is not opposition.
Dr. Patra, you've questioned us.
No, I didn't question you.
No, one
This is
But
second.
that
really,
was a
really
loaded
simple.
statement.
It is not a
You
loaded
could have
statement.
easily
Sir,
asked us a
it's-
question
it's-
on farmers. We would have
Sir,
given you the answer
Mr.
to say
Patra.
that the BJP under
Mr.
Mr. Modi
Patra,
had the
we can't go
highest
into- we
number
have a
of
full-
farmers protests across all the states in the country compared to what it was during
Okay, Mr.
the
Patra.
regime of Congress
Mr.
is,
Patra.
I believe, is wrong.
Mr. Patra,
There
if it's
were
wrong...
farmers who were
Let her
killed
express.
during
Sir,
the
Don't go
48
back to that.
years
I
of
think this is
Congress
not the
rule.
debate.
Sir,
48
okay, let's not get
years
into
of
this.
Congress
I'll
rule.
be forced to go into
This is understandable.
okay, what I'm doing is...
48
This is your
years of
frustration.
Mr.
This is
Patra, okay, Mr.
understandable.
Patra, Mr. Patra.
You will not accept the
What
truth.
I will do
No,
is one second. Let's not get. I don't want to get
you
into
and
this.
anybody
We are
speaking
wasting
against you
time.
is
It's
opposition.
okay. It's we are wasting
The
time.
48
What I
years
will-
of Congress rule versus 4
This
years
is
of
really
Modi.
Mr.
bad.
Patra.
You have to accept the
48
truth.
Mr. Patra.
We had
More
less
is
farmers
not
protests.
Are you're forcing me to go into a
The
break,
way you are
sir?
commenting,
You're
that there
forcing
is no
me.
need of
You're forcing
opposition.
me to go
This
into
is
a
not
break.
done.
You're forcing me to go into a break.
more
Now
important.
I will just say it in one line.
Can I make a
I will
point
give you
too?
the figures, and you're open to challenges. Sue us. Sue us
Yes.
if the figures
No,
are
I'm
wrong.
going to sue
Right?
you.
So
We are
then
having
sue
a
us if the
healthy
figures are
debate
wrong.
over here.
Please
Can
don't
I-
No, I
argue.
can.
No, it's a healthy
This is
debate.
why
Why
you
should
have
I
to
sue
sue
you?
This
It's
is
not
not the way to
because
do
I'll
this.
tell you. I'll tell you. No,
We
no,
are having a
hijack
healthy
the
debate
debate.
over here. It's
No,
not that
a
you are my
healthy
enemy.
debate, a healthy debate.
You cannot
is not
hijack
built-
the debate
a
like
healthy
this.
debate,
Mr. Patra.
Dr. Patra,
You
is
have
not
to accept
built.
the
want to
fact.
know
Is not
how
built.
in 48
is not
years
built
of Congress
You cannot
on the
stop
ground.
anybody
less
from
farmer
speaking, Mr.
protests.
All right, give us
Patra.
your
Let us
years
speak.
of Modi
Give
government.
us
You cannot
your-
stop anybody
farmers
from
protest.
speaking.
Dr.
A simple
Patra,
question.
okay, sir, you're free to rate him 100. Go ahead.
Ma'am,
already done
ma'am, you are. I really like the way of your anchoring. It's nothing personal over here. My
Neither
only
is it.
No.
Neither was my
Yeah,
statement.
I agree.
Neither was my
Preeti,
statement.
we have been
Speaking, Mr.
debating.
Patra.
Please,
Let us speak the
Let's
truth.
not.
Sir,
Just a
would we,
second.
can
You
we,
don't-
can we
Preeti
move
does
on?
not
We have a full
need
show
your
to
does not
cover.
need
You are
your
telling the
support,
opposition.
Sir, we have a
It's
full
not
show to
question of
cover.
Exactly, that's
supporting
right.
her.
Look at him.
It's a
I'm
democracy.
talking to you.
One second. Can
I'm
we,
talking.
okay, let's let's
Preeti,
stick to
my
the
only
topic.
contention,
How much?
Preeti, with all due respect, my only contention, don't take it otherwise,
I am
Preeti.
not-
My only issue was 48 years versus 4 years. I lay it to
All
rest.
right, sir.
I come
Okay.
to the issue.
Sir,
I
go
lay
ahead,
it to rest.
go ahead, go ahead. All right.
The issue
Rate.
is, as far as
Rate.
rate is of course 100, but give me 10 seconds. Or enough of our fights. Now come
Yes,
to the issue.
yes, yes.
Mr. Khera is also here. We all are educated people who study newspaper almost every day. Only about a week ago, we had seen the center spread of Times of India,
Yes.
which carried one of the most important articles by none other than M.S. Swaminathan. M.S. Swaminathan is the doyen of the Green Revolution of
Yes.
India. He's the father of Indian agriculture, so to say. He's more than
Till the
90
time he
years.
writes positive
And he
about
said,
you.
he said that
Just till
whatever.
the time he
Can I
writes
please
positive about
complete?
you.
Mr.
He
Mr.
said-
Rohan Gupta, I'll come to you.
He said that that whatever had dreamt of the farmers
Okay, I
of
need to go
India,
into a break.
he had completed.
All right, thank you, Mr. Patra.
Modi ji-
Now, because of all of this, I'm running short of time. I need to quickly dip into a break. I'm going to come.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.